Good morning. Welcome back or welcome to Yoga with Ciara. This is day 9 of Spiral and it's a Sunday yum. So we're going to be spiraling on the floor and moving slowly, moving deeply, connecting our nervous system to our movements. So come lie on your back and we shall begin. Come. So knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. And just find the sense of this moment in your body. So there's your hips. Is one hip bigger, smaller than the other? Higher or lower, more forward, more back? And as we've been doing this the last 9 days, I've really come into relationship to the fact that one of my hips is really much bigger. And when you listen into your shoulders, big, small, forward, backwards, up, down, again, there's a pattern that I'm starting to notice in my body that's pretty regular, turning up every morning. Nice. So drop your knees down towards the right and back to center, and then drop your knees down towards the left. And as you move, can you include that smaller, bigger, more forward, more backward feeling? So where is that feeling now? So I have a hip that feels bigger than the other one. And so as I move, I'm listening more to my big hip actually. I'm not really paying attention to my small hip. So I'm going to take my attention and bring it into my smaller hip, the one that I can't feel quite so clearly. And it's like I'm leaning my attention to that side. It's like I'm staring a little bit into the darkness or into the murkiness, the unknown of what I'm perceiving. Just stay with that which is not so clear about your hips, about your pelvis. One side is bigger, one side is smaller. Focus on the smaller side. Nice. Bring your arms up, interlock your fingers, and then rock your arms down towards the right, back up to center, and then down towards the left. And as you do this, can you include that information that one side is smaller, one side is bigger? Can you feel it clearly here? Interesting. I can't feel the shoulder one as clearly with this. I'm like, yeah, I know one is bigger, one is smaller, but I can't feel it here. Can you? Can you notice the difference between your two shoulders as you rock from side to side? Nice. And come back to center. Cool. Stretch your legs out long. Stretch your arms wide and just pause. I'm going to wiggle my pelvis a little bit. Just have that sense of sacrum landing clearly, bum landing clearly, backs of my thighs, backs of my calves. I'm going to wiggle my shoulders, wiggle the back of my spine, and just really connect to the floor with the back of my rib cage. How would you feel the back of your ribs more on the floor? So pull the front ribs backwards and you'll feel more of the back ribs on the floor. And maybe a little bit more to the right, a little bit more to the left. You have to kind of wiggle somehow when you do that. How would you get more of your lower back on the floor? Nice. So bend your right knee and bring your foot flat to the floor and interlock your fingers up towards the ceiling. And then rock yourself over towards the left. So my right foot's on the floor. And then come back to center. Over towards the left. And you're pushing quite firmly into the right foot as you do this. Over towards the left. And back to center. Now, try over towards the right. How is that different in your body? Over towards the right. One last time. Over towards the right. How is that different? What's the spiral like in this direction? Right, change legs. So bend your left knee over towards the right. What's the spiral like? Is it a clean line, connection? Can you get a sense of your hip and your shoulders being connected? Now spiral in the other direction, over towards the left. What happens when you go to the left? What's different about the left side? One more time. Super. Both knees bent, both feet flat on the floor. So yes, so yesterday was also a yum. So we stayed completely on the floor the whole time. And so if you bring both feet to the floor, this is the movement we were doing yesterday, and lift the right foot up and then draw the left knee a little bit towards the midline and cross your right leg over the top of it. And then bring your right foot as far to the right as you can and bring your left knee to the left. So right leg crosses, let your left knee drop in. Right leg wide, let your left knee drop out. So left knee in, right leg over. Left knee out, right leg out to the side. So you're crossing both thighs and then as wide as you can. Crossing. And if you want to, instead of touching the floor, swing your right leg out towards the right with your legs straight and then cross. Straight and then cross. So you're squeezing your thighs together, and then you're widening. Squeezing in, widening. And I'm really feeling the track or the pathway of the range of motion as I lengthen into my leg and drop both knees wide. And then squeezing in, and then wide. And just feel that. Where do you feel this movement? I can feel how my legs are connected to my pelvic floor. I can feel how the deep of my belly is connected down into my legs. I get a sense of the length of my inner thighs. I just feel it. One more time. And the next time your right leg goes right, pause there. And the next time and drop your left knee even more. So I'm resting on the baby toe side of the left leg. And I'm going to anchor down into my lower back. I just have a deeper sense of widening. So let the focus be on anchoring the lower back. So the left hip, how would I bring the left hip and the back of the ribs a little bit more into contact? There you go. So really breathing into the back of your body. Give weight to the back of your left waist. Give weight to the back of the left ribs. Really anchor even more through the back of your body. So they get really solid backwards through your back, through the left side of your body. Because everything will be falling to the right. So you're anchoring down through the left side. Nice. Bring the right knee up towards you. Squeeze it in. Hug it deeply down. And then bring your foot to the floor. Other side. Cross the left thigh across. As you cross your left thigh across, your right knee travels to center a little bit more. And then touch the floor out towards the left and drop your right knee out to the side. So cross and then wide. Cross and then wide. And I have this sense of really squeezing my inner thighs and then widening into the inner thighs. Squeezing and then wide. Nice. Next time you do it, you're going to straighten your leg. Squeeze in and then swing your left leg out towards the left. Squeezing in, left leg out towards the left. And as I send my leg to the left, I'm really surging down into my heel. So I have the sense of wide and strong, and then cross squeeze. Wide and strong, cross squeeze. And again, wide and strong. Feel the range, feel the line of movement. Next time you go to the left with your straight leg, pause. And then you're going to anchor down into the right side of your belly, down into the right side of your ribs, right side of your lower back. Get really solid with the right side of your body. How would you give it more weight, more connection? Nice. Draw both knees back to center. Squeeze your left knee up towards you. Nice. And bring your foot to the floor. Cool. Gonna turn. So feet are underneath your knees, arms are long beside you. Push down into your feet and roll up along your spine. So as you roll up, have a deep sense of the squeeze of your buttocks as you lift your hips. And then really deeply roll down into the spine and connect the different parts of your spine to the floor. And again, rolling up along your spine, squeeze your bum as you lift. And then rolling down, landing all the way down onto the floor. So really lengthen, opening into the front of your hips. And traveling all the way down. Enjoy that sense of the power of your legs. Maybe there's that echo of there's a hip that is bigger, a hip that is smaller. And you feel that in this movement, in this moment. Again, I'm going to bring my attention to the smaller hip, the one that's less available. Nice. One more time and pause. Rising up, find your distance, squeeze your bum. Nice. Roll all the way down. Walk your feet slightly closer together. Squeeze your right knee up onto your chest. And then just roll gently up along your spine and lift your bum 1 or 2 inches or a little bit higher off the floor. And then roll back down again. So how would you make this really smooth as you roll up? Smooth as you roll down. Feeling the deep of your belly, the power of your hips, the power of your pelvis. And just rolling up and down. Nice. Change legs. Squeeze the left knee up towards you, rolling up. Traveling down. Can you feel a difference between one hip and the other? Can you feel that they're different in function, different in connection, different in size? Nice. So both feet to the floor. So bring your left arm long beside your ear and roll over and lie on your left side. Bring your right hand to the floor directly in front of your chest and swing your right knee up so that it touches your right elbow. And then sweep your right foot behind you. It's the same movement as what we were doing, but now it's not against gravity, so we can focus on the lengthening of our leg, because before we had to strengthen as well because we were lifting. Now we can just focus on lengthening. So how deeply can you draw that right foot behind you? Keep your right hand connected to the floor. Where does the lengthening begin? I can feel it all the way up into the front of my chest, actually. The sense of the deep muscles of the front of my belly traveling all the way back towards my foot. Nice. And now begin to swing. Draw your knee forward. Sweep your foot back. And as you move, you have a sense of squeeze and then open. So really feel that squeeze, the shortening of something, the lengthening of your back, the lengthening of the front, the shortening of the back. Squeeze. Lengthen. Squeeze. Lengthen. Nice. Stretch the right leg long so that your leg is long, okay? And then try and reach your right leg further away from you to slide it down along the floor. When you do that, your ribs are going to lift off the floor on the left side and then shorten and make your leg the same height. So, how do I say this better? So bring your right hand to your hip and let your right leg travel long and then come back to normal or neutral. Let your right leg get long and normal or neutral. And you should feel a sense of your right hand travels down when your right hip and right leg get long. And then your right hip comes back and your ribs land on the floor. Long, neutral, long, or even get shorter. How would you shorten the right leg up towards you, keeping it straight? Long, squeeze, long, squeeze. Oh, this meets all kinds of strange and interesting things in my lower back. Bend your knees, bring your feet together, pause and rest. Nice. So after these movements on this side, keep your knees together, lift your right foot up. And then keep your feet together, lift the right knee up. Push your right hand into the floor so that when you lift your knee up, you're not rolling backwards, you're using your thigh. So when you keep your hand on the floor, the ribs more or less stay in the same place. Whereas if I lift my hand off the floor, I'll tend to roll backwards with my pelvis. So don't. Keep your hands stuck to the floor. Lift your knee as high as it'll go. Feel how something happens in your rib cage. Lift your foot as high as it goes. What's happening in your ribs as you do this? Really feel that. Close your eyes and let the movement take your ribs into movements, into directions, into sensations, into connections. Really, the lifting of my knee does really interesting things to my ribs. Nice. Okay, come to the other side. So lie on your back for a moment. Nice. Reach your right arm long beside you. And then drop both knees down to the right and roll over onto your right side. So I'm lying on my right arm and my left hand is on the floor in front of me. Nice. Begin by sweeping that left foot back. And keep your left hand really firmly on the floor. And we're just going to lengthen into the front of our belly. We're going to go over time. I'm so sorry. We're going to be 23 minutes long today. And really reaching back, gliding into your toes. Where does the connection begin? And then draw your knee up and squeeze. Sweep your leg back, open, squeeze your knee up, close. But when something's closing on one side, the back of that joint has to open. So when you close the front of your hip, your spine is lengthening. But when you open the front of your hip, your spine is shortening at the back. So feel that. There's a lengthening as there is a shortening. They're synergistic, antagonistic. One shortens as the other one lengthens. It creates stability front and back of your joint. Squeeze, lengthen. Squeeze, lengthen. One more time. Squeeze and lengthen. Nice. Stretch the left leg long. Bring your left hand to your hip. Let your left leg get longer. And then how short can you make your left leg without bending your knee? And your ribs are going to move as you do this. Long, short, long. So it isn't a coordination. So we're lengthening one side, shortening the other. Long, short. Oh God, this one kills me. Oh, in a good way. Bend your knee. Wow, that really gets my bum. Deep in the hip socket. I think we need to do that one more. So hand to the front of the floor in front of your chest. Keep your feet together, bring your knees apart. And then keep your knees together, bring your feet apart. And how do you do this? What happens in your ribs as you do this? So allow your ribs to be challenged by the lifting of your foot and by the lifting of your knee. What do you feel? I have to close my eyes to feel it. I can feel these amazing lines of connection. It's like looking at the threads of me, the seams of me, the connections, the supports from the deep inside of me. One more time. Sheeny meeny. Great. Lie on your back. And just roll like there's a clock on the back of your pelvis. So just rolling. And then roll in the other direction. And then just land. Maybe lengthen your legs out long. Maybe keep your knees bent. Maybe bring the soles of your feet together. Just come to rest. Find a place where, because we did really deep work into the pelvis, into the hips there. So take at least 2 or 3 minutes to let that settle. And as you settle, see if you can notice that one side is bigger or smaller than the other. One side is maybe more connected than the other. And you gaze into the dark of you, into the unknown, into the not so clear of you. Oh, that was yum. Oh, my hips feel really tired or met or something. Nice. So we'll be back tomorrow, day 10 of Spiral. And so there's only 14 days in Spiral. So we are finishing, I think that's Saturday. Is it that Saturday? Something like that. Friday or Saturday we'll be finishing the 14th. So I'll see you then, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Be well, be awesome. Those of you I'm meeting on the beach, woohoo, I'll see you there. And Bob, bye.